Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Fabio Vieira says he is very similar to £43 million Manchester City player. Arsenal star Fabio Vieira has claimed that he is very similar to Manchester City midfielder Bernardo Silva. The Gunners signed the 22-year-old from Porto last summer. He came in with an injury and took a while to be ready, but he has looked really good over the last few months. Arsenal fans have often likened him to Silva, and Vieira himself has admitted now that they are both very similar players. Vieira was a star for Porto in the Portuguese top flight last season. The 22-year-old scored 7 goals and provided 16 assists in just 21 starts in all competitions. It's no surprise at all that Arsenal snapped him up in the summer, and fans are now starting to see his real quality. Vieira hasn't yet fully exploded in an Arsenal shirt, but he has shown flashes of his brilliance. The way he moves with the ball has reminded many people of Silva, and he agrees they are very similar. The Arsenal man said, as relied on Highter's TV, "Of course, I admire him. He is an extraordinary player. I know him from Portugal. He played before in Benfica, and I know him very well. I think we are similar players with similar qualities as well, and yes, of course, I admire him." Silva has been sensational for Manchester City ever since he joined them from Monaco for £43 million back in 2017. The Portugal international has played 290 minutes for the Premier League champions and has directly contributed to 108 goals. He has played a massive part in their success, and a player like him would be incredible for almost every team in the world. Vieira is not quite on Silva's level just yet, but he has the potential to get there one day. He can play in numerous positions on the pitch, is excellent on the ball, and can create and score regularly. The fact that he is still just 22 means he will only get better in the coming years. If Vieira goes on to have the kind of career at Arsenal that Silva has had at City, he will end up as a fan favourite at the Emirates Stadium. Mikel Arteta shares what Gabriel Jesus has been telling him after Arsenal's training sessions recently. Mikel Arteta has now shared what Gabriel Jesus has been telling him after Arsenal's training sessions. Arteta was speaking to the press via the club's official website ahead of their Europa League tie with Sporting. Gabriel Jesus finally returned to action when he came on as a substitute against Fulham on Sunday. The travelling support cheered his every touch, and it was only Bernardo that prevented him from marking his return with a goal. The Brazilian has been pushing Arsenal staff throughout his recovery to get back on the training ground as quickly as possible. Arteta was asked whether Jesus would be ready to start tonight, having returned to full training. It would be a massive call and a huge sign that Arteta is confident in the forward's fitness. However, most Arsenal fans would prefer to see him feature from the bench, as the last thing they will want is for him to suffer a setback. Asked about the talismanic striker, Arteta said, "It was great to see him back. You can feel the happiness of everybody around him, supporters, players, staff. We missed him, and now we are glad he is back. We have to manage his minutes and we have to manage his involvement in the squad and in the team. But Gabi is feeling good every day that he is training. He says that these senses are getting better and better, so that's really positive." Arsenal have done brilliantly to cope without the £45 million star for the past few months. The likes of Edin Ketia, Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard have stepped up brilliantly in his place, and Ketia is now expected to be out for several weeks, with Jesus returning at just the right time. It's a great sign that Jesus has been telling Arteta that he is feeling better and better after each training session. Every Arsenal player will need to be on top form to keep Manchester City at bay in the Premier League. Jesus may just be the key to preventing his old team from catching them up in the run-in. Mikel Arteta says he loves Emile Smith Rowe. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta has had his say on Emile Smith Rowe after he was asked if the Englishman is still in his plans. The 22-year-old Hale End graduate burst onto the scene a couple of years ago and changed the Gunners' fortunes. He was unbelievable last season as well, but things have not gone his way this time around. Smith Rowe has had injury issues and he hasn't started a single game this season as a result. Smith Rowe really thrived under Arteta in the last two seasons. The Englishman can play as a number 10 and also on the left flank. His driving runs and ability to score goals made him a really important player, but sadly, he has had to watch most of this campaign from the sidelines. Smith Rowe had to undergo surgery to fix an issue with his groin, and he only returned to action a few weeks ago. That has limited his game time, and he is yet to start a game for the Gunners this term. Arteta was asked if Smith Rowe was still in his plans now because he has players like Martin Odegaard and Fabio Viera available in his position. The Gunners boss claimed he loves the youngster and urged him to prove himself again to get back into the side. In his press conference yesterday, Arteta said, as quoted by Football London, the following: "No, he knows that he is still in Arsenal's plans. He knows how much we love him and how much we missed him and how much we need his qualities. Now he needs to prove it and how much he wants to win and how much he is going to contribute to this team to be better. He is gonna have to show that to get in the team." Smith Rowe is a phenomenal player. The Englishman can play on either wing as a number 10, false 9, and even in central midfield. He can be a really dangerous player for the Gunners, but he just needs to get back to his best. The last time Smith Rowe started and played the full 90 minutes for Arsenal in the Premier League was in April 2022. It's been almost a year since that happened, which is a real shame. However, he is fit again and ready to go when Arteta needs him. That could be tonight when Sporting Lisbon come to the Emirates. Odegaard says he's been so impressed by Jacob Kivir in training. Martin Odegaard has lauded Jacob Kivir following his Arsenal debut, telling the club's official website that the January signing has been really impressive in training since his arrival. Kivir was one of three players to join the Gunners in the winter, arriving for £20 million. Unlike Jorginho and Leandro Trossard, he arrived as a newbie to the Premier League, and that may help explain why Mikel Arteta has taken his time to introduce the Poland international into the side. Of course, he is also competing with William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes for a place in the team, but Arsenal fans did get their first glimpse of Kivir last week. The 23-year-old made his bow for the club in the first leg of their Europa League with Sporting. It was not the easiest night for the youngster. He did not cover himself in glory for Sporting's first goal, but it would appear that Odegaard was impressed, and he explained how Kivir has earned the opportunity with his performances at London Conley since his arrival. He said, "Another positive from the first leg for us was Jacob Kivir making his debut. It was great for him to get his first minutes with us because he's been training really well since he joined. So for him to play his first game from the start in a big occasion like that was a great opportunity for him, and you could see his qualities. I am sure he will just get better and better now, especially when he understands more of what we are doing, builds those relationships on the pitch with the rest of the team, and develops the language too." Arsenal are in an amazing position when it comes to someone like Kivir. They do not need him to hit the ground running because of the way their other centre-backs are performing. Should Saliba or Gabriel pick up a knock or suspension at any point, Arteta also has Ben White, Takahiro Tomiyasu, or Rob Holding to turn to, so Kivir can take his time to adapt to his new surroundings. That approach ultimately ended up working wonders for Saliba, with the Frenchman looking an absolute class act in the Premier League following his debut this season. Perhaps history will end up repeating itself with Kivir over the coming years. Manchester United now set to battle with Arsenal to sign Muhammad Kudos this summer. Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag is now desperate to sign Ajax youngster and Arsenal target Muhammad Kudos. That's according to Dean Jones, writing for Give Me Sport, as the Ghanaian's future looks set to become another key talking point this summer. The 22-year-old has been linked with a Premier League for some time, with Everton attempting to sign him last year. The move never materialized, and the Toffees will be ruining not being able to sign the prolific attacker. Kudus has 16 goals in all competitions this season and is one of Ajax's key players. A report from 90 Minutes suggests that Arsenal and Tottenham are both keeping a close eye on Kudus. The prospect of playing for the Gunners will be a very attractive one this summer when they return to the Champions League. However, Arsenal may struggle to fend off interest from Manchester United, with Ten Hag having already worked with Kudus. The Ghanaian was never first choice during his time in charge of the Dutch Giants. He may be wary of a repeat of that treatment and won't want to be sitting on the bench at Old Trafford. The report from Give Me Sport states that Erik ten Hag knows Kudus from his time at Ajax and recommends him. Kudus, 22, is contracted to Ajax until 2025, and there is now an expectation that his price tag is heading north of £50 million. The incredible attacker is so versatile, and that will appeal to plenty of top clubs. The left footed Ghanaian international tends to drift inside from the right hand side, but can also play as a box to box midfielder, advanced playmaker, or even a centre forward. Arsenal won't be looking to make too many attacking reinforcement in the summer. Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard are more than proving they are good enough to play for a top Premier League side. Manchester United also have similar depth to Arsenal, but Ten Hag will recognize Kudus' qualities better than most. It would be a big surprise to see the youngster remain in the Netherlands for another season. The growing interest and increasing price tag may persuade Ajax to sell Kudus when the right bid comes in. Gary Lineker left amazed after watching Arsenal target Osimhen last night. Gary Lineker took to Twitter last night to praise Napoli striker Victor Osimhen after watching him in the Champions League after he's been linked with a move to Arsenal. Mikel Arteta's man moved to bring in Leandro Trossard in January, and the Belgian has settled in quickly at the Emirates Stadium. The 28-year-old has been used as a false nine by Arteta in Gabriel Jesus' absence, and he seems to be thriving in the role. Despite Trossard's brilliant start at Arsenal, the club have been linked with a move for the informed Napoli star Victor Osimhen. Italian journalist Ciro Venerato suggested last week that the Gunners are the favourites among Premier League sides to land the Nigerian striker. Osimhen bagged yet another brace in the Champions League last night as Luciano Spalletti's man trashed Eintracht Frankfurt 3-0, and it seems that Lineker was impressed with the 24-year-old's display. Lineker took to Twitter to praise Osimhen after he helped fire Napoli through to the quarter-finals of the Champions League. Osimhen has now netted a staggering 23 goals in 25 appearances for Napoli this season. The phenomenal striker has really announced himself as one of the most lethal finishers in Europe over the past few months. It's no surprise that he is turning heads in the Premier League, with the likes of Tottenham and Manchester United also said to be interested. He made a £70 million switch to Naples from League One outfit Lille back in 2020, but Spalletti's man will probably demand a fee way north of that if he is to move on this summer. While Osimhen is undoubtedly one of the most exciting players in Europe right now, it seems unlikely that Arsenal will break the bank to sign him anytime soon. Arteta already has a wealth of options at his disposal for the number 9 role, with Jesus returning from injury and Trossard impressing in the role. The Spaniard also seems to trust Edin Ketia, who stepped up in the absence of Jesus after the World Cup. Arsenal will seemingly have other priorities over the summer as they bid to strengthen Arteta's midfield options, but it's scary to think how Osimhen could perform in a free-following attacking side like Arsenal's. Chelsea definitely in race and determined to land Arsenal transfer target Declan Rice. Chelsea are reportedly definitely in the race for the transfer of West Ham United midfielder Declan Rice this summer. The England international has been a star performer at the London Stadium for a number of years now, establishing himself as one of the finest defensive midfield players in Europe. It seems just a matter of time before he moves to a bigger club, and Florian Plettenberg has tweeted an update on interest from Chelsea, saying they are making him one of their top candidates to come in that position, whilst adding that there is a good chance of him being on the move this summer due to his contract situation with the Hammers. Rice has also been linked with Arsenal by Ben Jacobs in his exclusive Cout offside column, and one imagines he'd surely rather move to a club playing in the Champions League. Still, Rice might also view Chelsea's long term project as more exciting due to the sheer money being pumped into it by ambitious new owner Todd Bowley, even if Arsenal are currently ahead of the Blues in the table. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.